All right, Cody.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience with today.
Experience with.
Can't say that.
It's grift.
Grift.
Grift it is. Well, their trust and safety team gave me a call, and what did they say? Asked that you're talking to the right person.
Go on.
You can tell me what we're going to talk about.
I know. Don't worry, we can cut out the bad parts.
Sure. So they gave me a call and informed me of why they had suspended me for the last couple weeks on their platform.
And they told you, apparently, that it's still under investigation?
It's still under investigation. They haven't decided what the outcome will be.
Where before, they told you that
it was permanent and it
you
was
were
final
permanently
decision.
deactivated.
Yes.
And what was their reasoning? What did they tell you? They finally gave you a reason for why they deactivated you.
Basically it was giving the full truth about what I do when people say, "Is this all you do?"
Because what do you do?
Because I also work as a cam model. Yes.
You work in the sex industry.
I work in the sex industry. I work
And
as a cam model.
And they called it sexual harassment.
Because they said it made them feel unsafe.
Because you were telling them
what they asked about.
The answer to their question.
Specific answer to their question.
Lulz.
Yes.
And just for the record, I know how he says this, and it's not... He's not being lewd. They're like...
It's the basics of what I do.
So is that all you do? Because sometimes in casual conversation it'll come up too, like, what do you do for a living? And he's like, oh, I'm a rideshare driver. And then they're like, oh, is that all you do? And he's like, no, I also work as a cam model.
Sometimes do some pre-recorded porn. And
I'm a pilot, and like, it's just one of the things, right?
I enjoy.
So it's just like, and then if they ask more questions about it, then sure, he'll bring it up. Like, I do the same thing when I feel comfortable telling people that that's an aspect of how I make money. And like, it's never been an issue for people with me, but I guess it's different because you're a guy.
I guess.
But it could have been anybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. And the other thing that I mentioned was, I'm not sure, they probably asked what I do. And I said, do you mean for work or other? They said, well, I guess both. I would say the sex club.
Oh,
and
right.
they mentioned that to me too.
Right.
So they reported that.
I mean, that is pretty much what we do for fun.
It's primarily what I do for work and what I do for fun besides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where we know all of our friends from, and where we have all of our parties, and
it's the majority of our life.
Most of our social interaction.
Yeah. It's the majority. It's the most significant part of what they're asking about.
So, like, without that, you're like, well,
so
I like to hang out with my girlfriend on the weekends.
Long walks on the beach. So it was suggested that I should mention cooking, that I'm very good at making lasagna.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, ugh, eye roll.
You are good at making lasagna.
Yeah.
I ate the rest of your lasagna today. It was delicious.
Yes, at work.
The rest of what I had at work, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty. But how interesting is that compared to what I actually really enjoy doing?
So, the answer is not interesting. Not interesting at all. Cooking is not interesting. Mm-hmm. Just kidding, it is. I love that you cook.
Cooking and hiking.
Yeah. But, so what are you going to do? Is this going to change, regardless of whether you're reactivated or just in reference to the other rideshare company that you
Luber.
Also work for, Luber.
Luber and Grift.
That's so close, though. What about Goober? I feel like that's cute.
Goober and Grift.
Yeah. Anyway, so is that going to change the way you interact with the people you're driving?
it will to some extent. It will also make me start cross-training into another job.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to be myself, have the freedom to fully be myself, express myself. Ideally, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps something in the sex positive community
That would be nice.
amazing.
We were talking about how I also work in customer service, and how I just don't share any of that, like any personal details whatsoever, anything about my personal life. Where I work, people know my dad a lot because I used to work for him, so they ask about him all the time, and I don't even share stuff about him. They're like, oh, how's he doing? And I'm like, oh, he's doing fine, even though, like,
it's questionable.
You know, like, he's doing better, but like, I don't share anything because it's not worth
the risk,
the repercussions, the potential repercussions, even though, like, being honest and genuine is really important to me, and in every other circumstance, like, I'll deal with the repercussions of someone not liking me in every circumstance other than work. But just because money is so important, like, that really freaks me out, so I don't do that.
You gotta have the fuck you money kind of job.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have a lot more money to say that. But what I'm trying to do is, like, work my little niche of promo products into the lifestyle community and into the people that we know. Mm-hmm. And the people who I know are okay with that. And then if the majority of my work, I guess, my projects come from there and my money is coming from there, then I can be 100% genuine and 100% forward with everything.
Self-employed?
Yeah, and if somebody asks me how I'm doing,
you can actually be
I can actually be honest. If somebody asks me what I did with my weekend, I don't have to say, oh, I went out to a party. I went
out to dinner and hung out with my boyfriend.
I went to go hang out with so-and-so. You know them. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, maybe someday.
Those vanilla people make me sad.
Yeah.
You know.
I like vanilla people. I like open-minded vanilla people.
Well, sure,
non-judgmental vanilla people. They don't have to be interested in what we're interested in and doing what we're doing, as long as they're not, like,
the offended kind.
Reporting you for talking about your life.
Reporting me for talking about what they asked of me.
Yeah. Because I was talking about how, like, I feel like everybody has, like, you and I both have this bubble, too. It's just in a different place than everybody else's. Everybody has this bubble.
Comfort bubble.
Their life. And their interpretation of the universe. And if you say something that doesn't go with their interpretation of the universe, their reality, and it blows their mind, and they think that it's immoral in a lot of cases, they feel like immorality is inherently bad. Mm-hmm. Whatever they think is immoral is inherently bad and makes you a bad person, and that you should be punished for that somehow.
If you're beyond their scope of acceptable.
Yeah.
Specifically their scope of what's okay.
Yeah. Which...
Not what's legal or what's okay by the people in that community, but what they judge as unacceptable.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't know what brought them to that worldview. And we don't know what made them feel unsafe about sexual freedom in the first place. Maybe they're incredibly repressed.
The passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily their fault either.
Yeah. So what's kind of making me realize about my job is that I realized I was taking a risk, seeing as I try to assess who is more likely to be offended and who's probably solid, as in strippers and people in the community would probably be totally fine with it, Burning Man people.
Yeah.
But then I look at, mothers with children, etc.
Yeah, probably not.
Older folks, generally people that I, for whatever reason, judge as being less open-minded.
Yeah.
was my point about that?
You're judging who
Yeah,
you tell.
I was judging who I could tell, and I realized my job is, without having, I guess, intimate conversations, not necessarily sexual, but like meaningful, emotionally based ones that feel nurturing. Without that, my job is absolutely mind-numbing most of the time. Yeah. It's monotonous. It's extremely boring.
Yeah.
It's just not worth doing. It's like a life where you don't have passion or a romantic connection with a partner.
Yeah.
Is not very happy.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels very hollow and very meaningless and mind-numbing.
Part of what you love about doing that kind of work is the connection that you get to make with people, mm-hmm. and the fact that you get to spend time with people all day long, mm-hmm. because you crave that.
Yeah.
And if you don't get to be genuine, then it turns that whole interaction just meaningless.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work if you don't get to be yourself.
It turns into a situation where you're trying not to incriminate yourself with the police.
Yeah.
And where you have to watch carefully what you say, or it could be used against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it goes from a nice conversation to carefully considering what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah.
So that's made me very sad today.
Yeah.
Made me feel very numb at the state of the world that people will do that.
Well, I think it's interesting that you have such a high rating with both companies.
Like 5 out of 5 star.
Since I've known you for almost 2 years, you haven't had less than a 4.9, mm-hmm. I think. Mm-hmm. And that has been for a very short amount of time. And I know when that is, because you're like, my rating's not 5 stars.
It's not literally perfect. You need an 8 plus.
Yeah. But the majority of the time it's 5 stars. And mm-hmm. then you've gotten like 3 complaints, maximum 3 complaints. And I know one day, one of them, somebody thought you were high on cocaine or something. Well, you thought it was that they thought you were high on cocaine because you were super anxious.
I was anxious and I was getting over a cold, so I was sniffling.
Right. I mean, they don't specify when they tell you what they're suspending you for, other than just saying generally, like an intoxication thing. I mean,
so the passenger interaction was, my passengers asked about my most interesting passenger stories. Asked about cool passenger stories, and I thought these people that were rolling on Molly, ecstasy, whatever it was, were quite entertaining, and I think they're a very good time to hang out with. And the fact that I did not, that I seemed to...
So that's who you were telling the story about, was the rolling people?
Yeah. So I had passengers that were very, excited, very, interested in me.
Right.
And I had a great time talking to them.
And asked you
and
that
then
question.
the passengers that reported me, they asked me about interesting people, and I told them about the people that were a good time before they came along. And they ended up thinking that since I was basically commiserating or supporting their behavior by talking kindly of them, that I was somehow on drugs because I was sniffling.
Right.
And I don't know if it was actually legit or whether they just wanted a refund, because I thought it was very strange that one of the first things we did when we stopped was they demanded a refund. They said, we're not paying for this.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to say if you feel like your life is in danger.
Yeah.
To pull, $10 into the equation.
But the whole
if you feel like it's a problem.
But the whole time they were on the ride, they weren't acting like they were in danger at all, right?
No.
They were acting like they were excited to hear your stories.
Almost, yeah. Yeah, so they seemed interested about previous experiences, and I started telling them, and then they started acting really squirrely, and I started getting very nervous about what was going to happen. And then they said, pull over, we feel unsafe. Right next to their destination within, probably a 2-minute drive to their destination and basically demanded their money back.
You weren't even telling them a story about you being on drugs. It was just
No.
random other passengers that were on drugs.
And I said, and then the woman in the car said, how do you know they're on drugs? I said, they usually tell me. They're usually super stoked to share. And they, for some reason, thought that whole situation was weird. And I said, I feel like that's the appropriate thing to do if you're doing that. If you take a...
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. So I don't know what exactly their issue was with it, or whether they're just in it for the free ride, or what was going on.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. The rideshare companies, both of them, right, will give credits for reporting people.
Yeah.
So people
So the squeaky will get the grease.
People will just report people just so that they can get credits on the app.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they even realize that they're potentially getting people fired and losing their livelihoods because of that.
Mm-hmm. Probably not. There's not a lot of jobs where you can make a complaint and make someone lose their job.
Yeah.
Especially one that doesn't have any evidence to support it.
That's true. Well, most jobs your boss is working a lot closer with you. So if they get a complaint that's just obviously
They just
untrue,
go talk to you.
they're I've had one time somebody complained about me at work, and my boss literally came over to me and he's like, "Oh my God, you know what this person just said to me?" And we laughed about it together. And I was like, "Yeah, that person, I didn't even know what to do with them."
Yeah.
But when you don't
Working
even
remotely.
know them.
Yeah.
You're a contractor. You've never met these people. You're just a number in their system.
Mm-hmm. It's not very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best feeling like you're just a number.
Yeah. Well, but we're on to bigger and better things now, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Growing and changing.
Mm-hmm. Your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This is pretty fun.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like this?
I'm enjoying this.
Having conversations and recording them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down with this.
I think you're going to have lots of fun with it.
No. Or we're going to have lots of fun.
You first.
Me first.
You first.
Throw me in, see what happens.
Yeah.
Throw me to the wolves.
Yeah.
See what people comment on this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see how it goes. And
Yeah.
If you guys like it, like, comment, subscribe.
As they say.
As they say.
Smash that like button.
If you
Smash
want
that subscribe button.
If you want more weird conversations, let us know. Comment below.
More perspective on our weird lives.
No, but really, we lead very strange lives, and I feel like this video has been a bit of a downer, but
You could say our lives are not safe for work in general.
yeah. What do we do primarily? Like, what would you say our lives consist of the most? I'll start. Sex club.
Yeah.
That's where we know all of our friends from. We call it a sex club. It's like a polyamory lifestyle, LGBT, like, friendly space. It's an open-minded, sex positive space. And
Where you can socialize without your pants on, order a drink.
yeah. Primarily what we do there is just it's one of the only spaces where we live that you can just be naked and run around and talk to people and nobody's judging you.
And be entirely yourself as long as you're not imposing other people.
Yeah.
Complete freedom.
Yeah. And the people there are just awesome. They're so open-minded and lovely and wonderful and positive and nurturing of each other's souls, and they are supportive and just want nothing but the best for everyone there. And so kind.
Yo.
And what else do? We do cam modeling. I have another business that I'm starting. I also have a day job. I used to have other partners, but not at the moment. And we're polyamorous.
Mm-hmm. Get to fully explore our sexuality.
Yeah. We go hiking a lot in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
and like to do a lot of active things like that and exploring of the city and surrounding areas. Target shooting. I like to do archery. We like to go for nude hikes in the woods. We can't post footage of a lot of the stuff that we do, but I'm thinking that we should post it somewhere, and then we can just link it. Either link it or just tell people where they can go to see like
shooting sports.
Our naked hikes, or we have footage of just us in the nude shooting, and it's not pornographic. Like we do that too, but
enjoy
it's just
being nude and going target shooting.
Yeah, it's a platonic
out in the national forest lands
activity that we enjoy, and it's very freeing to do something like that. I am not a gun person necessarily. Like I don't mind them, but I also wouldn't carry one without someone to train me around. But holding
always put your gun on a trained person.
Yes. Holding a powerful piece of machinery in the nude,
full nude
is a very interesting experience. I highly recommend.
Being fully exposed with intense power in your hands.
Yeah. And what else do we do? I like to cook a ton. Like we were making jokes about saying that cooking is interesting, but I really do like to cook. I like to explore food. When I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel a while ago, I wanted to do like a health/cooking/lifestyle channel, which I might still start at some point in the future if his takes off. But
guinea pig with me.
Well, it's less guinea pigging and more I'll let you do all of the work. You can get all of these crazy subscribers, and then you can just be like,
alright, it works.
And she has a channel now too, so you should go follow her, and I'll get all of these
lady.
These subscribers from that. Yeah.
Give you all the love.
That's my plan. Your plan?
It's
my plan.
Let me go first. You follow up in the rear.
Yeah. But ultimately, we want to move into
toy hauler travel trailer.
Or some kind of travel trailer.
Yeah. But the toy hauler has been a fantasy since my teen years, my early teens.
I would love to give you that fantasy.
And specifically had the fantasy of living with a partner in a toy hauler travel trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to work remotely. I want to work remotely so that we can follow the sun and he can fly for a while at least doing helicopter work. And then...
Yeah, they don't know yet that I'm a commercial helicopter pilot.
Sorry, we're not telling them that.
No? Not yet?
Are we not? I don't know.
No. Is it a secret?
Is it?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
Will it get us demonetized?
No.
Okay.
That's one of the few things that won't get us demonetized.
Aviation. It's one of the family-friendly things that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Or specifically that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, took her up in a helicopter. Yeah, I'm a commercial instrument-rated helicopter pilot with flight instructor and instrument flight instructor ratings, and private airplane pilot as well.
Yeah.
Got to take her up on one of my flight reviews in the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice day.
It was very fun. I'd never been in a helicopter before.
Mm-hmm. We got to take you up in an airplane now.
I was kind of disappointed because he said there was going to be engine failure drills.
Mm-hmm.
And I was picturing like falling from the sky, but it was just like the engine cut for a second. It was just like 2-inch drop.
A little surge downward and then gliding. Come on.
That was anticlimactic.
Hey, if you want a real rush, skydive.
I want to hang glide. That'd be really fun.
Yep. Birthday present?
Hang gliding, yes. Not skydiving.
No?
Not skydiving.
Oh, but you get to roll out backwards.
Oh, I know. I watched a YouTube video about how to survive skydiving if your parachute doesn't open. And I'm like,
What is that? Grab your instructor's auxiliary chute. Use that.
Flatten yourself out as much as you can against the wind. until you're like really close to the ground so that you slow yourself down as much as possible. And then orient yourself so that your feet are going to hit first, and you will definitely break your legs, but you might survive.
I am not going to try that.
What would you try?
I'm going to go for a clean dispatch on that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just go head first.
There's no, yeah. I'm not going to try to survive.
So let's see how fast we can go.
You have a terminal velocity of like 130, 140 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any chances with surviving that. No?
I don't know. Let's just not go skydiving right now. Until I forget all of that.
Yo. Come on, live a little.
Let's go hang gliding.
Hang gliding's super dangerous too.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It just feels better in my brain.
Whatever suits you, honey.
Whatever, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Such a crazy couple.
Anyway. Okay, bye.